Hello, my name's Elizabeth Echeverria. I'm the founder of Living in Liberty, a nonprofit in Pittsburgh that helps women transition out of a life of sex trafficking. Today, we are here at the Living in Liberty YouTube channel to talk about how to end human trafficking and specifically how Living in Liberty works to do that. Today, we have Bonnie Nichols, our outreach leader, here today. Welcome, Bonnie. So glad to have you. We're here to talk about outreach, and tell us a little bit about what street outreach is like.
Street outreach is going to see the women where they are, going to their house, even though it's not a house. We're going to where they are because they're not going to come try and find us, so we go find them.
And so what are the locations that Living in Liberty goes out to do street outreach?
We're in Pittsburgh, in Homewood and Wilkinsburg, Northside. We're in Butler. We work on a different aspect of it in New Kensington.
Mm-hmm. And so how did Living in Liberty start in the streets? What did that look like?
Well, it looked like someone coming to train us, and I can remember she spent time just telling us, since she was a survivor of the streets and of trafficking, what it was like for her. And I remember her saying, so next Saturday we're going to Homewood, and I've been around Pittsburgh a long time, and that was a little bit of a gasp, really. But she went with us, helped us to know what it was like for the women, how to approach them, just her way of doing outreach.
When we went out that first time, did we encounter any women?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We did.
Was Homewood, did we find out where the track was and things like that right away, where the women are?
No, we didn't. That took us a year. Homewood's not very big, but God had some big things he had to do in us first. So I think he let us kind of wander around, but it wasn't wandering in the wilderness. It was a wandering of learning, learning to be faithful, learning some of the things we were going to need to learn. One of the first things he spoke to us on the streets was kindness. Be kind.
And so what are the drop-in centers called now?
We call them care centers, but we call them Joy Space. One of the first women that we met who came to a care center was Joy, and we just came to love her very much. She was pretty stuck out there because she wanted to be out there, but we got to know her really well, and she used to always say, to you especially, you need to do more for the women. You need to do more for the women. And when she passed of addiction, we wanted to do more for the women, and so we began to call the care centers Joy Space, began to do work online.
Trying to always figure out what that more is, right?
Yes, always trying to figure out more.
So when a woman comes into what we call a drop-in center, what is a drop-in center, and what would happen there?
Our drop-in centers are once a week, and they're for a few hours, and that's we do that specifically. We don't want to enable the women to stay on the street, but we definitely want to keep in connection with them. Be there when they are ready to do more for themselves. So they come in, and we will have some immediate needs that they might need: clothes, they might need hygiene products. We always have a nice meal for them to sit down and just get off the streets for a while, give them some space.
They can do their laundry, take a shower.
Right.
You know, there's nothing like a great shower to make
Nothing makes them feel better than
makes you feel human again, you know, when you're living in the streets. It's hard. What other ways does we do? You know, we do outreach as well, street outreach. We have the drop-in centers, but what else do we?
We have a van that we take onto the street. The van is packed with some of the things that they might need. We try to keep up with the resources in the areas where we are, so that we can answer questions, or we can walk alongside them if they're going to try and reach out. There are good resources for them. We don't have to do everything ourselves. There are wonderful resources in our city, but they often need a helping hand with that. It's hard to work through resources.
And how many women are you connecting with on a regular basis, like say down in Homewood and Wilkinsburg?
I would say week to week we're going to see 20 women. That'll be different women. Some may be the same, but it keeps changing because there'll be new women. There'll be some women that will get out, get off. But since we've been there long enough, in Homewood especially, they tell the new women about us. So.
And if a woman came into the drop-in center that day and said they were ready to get off the streets, what would you do?
Well, that has happened. And we could help them make some calls, because if they're on the street, most likely the first thing they have to deal with is addiction. And so getting them set up with a rehab be a very first step. You'll find out if they're really ready, though, because you can make all the connections and have them already be picked up, and at the last minute they really weren't ready. So it's kind of hard to tell, but you work with them where they are and how God leads you.
Yeah. So sometimes they may not really be ready.
Right.
Or sometimes they're in crisis, right? So we're just meeting them in crisis and helping them get through that particular crisis. But I always like to say it's about building relationship with them.
It's about building that relationship, absolutely. It's about prayer, perseverance, patience.
What else do you think people should know about the drop-in center or the street outreach in general?
In general, we are not there as saviors. We are not there as rescuers. We are there to give them an expression of God's love the best way that we can in the situation that they are in, allowing them to think through things, allowing them to come to that point of need where they want to change, but not pushing. We're not pushing. We're trying to build a friendship with anyone. You don't go in and start pushing them around. We think of them as friends. And we just want to give them some space to think through things, have someone they can go to.
That will support them when they're ready to hold their hand. Yes. And well, Bonnie, I know I personally am so thankful that you've been part of the team since the beginning. You know, you were part of that first time we went out, and you're still leading the team. So that's so exciting. I'm thankful for that. I hope you learned something about living in liberty and the work of our street outreach. It has a great impact on the women that are still being trafficked in the streets of Pittsburgh. Today, if you could like, subscribe, and share this video with those that could learn more, that would be wonderful. And like the Living in Liberty YouTube channel. I hope you learned something today, and I look forward to connecting with you next week. Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you.